Hello everybody and welcome to Sit Down at the Roastery, and today I have the one and only Mr. Jack Fleckney.
Thank you, mate. How are we
Thanks
doing?
for coming in, Jack. Yeah, very
That's
good.
all right. All good, mate.
So just a quick explanation why we've got Jack here today. Jack's not just a customer of the Roastery and uses our coffee and machinery, etc., but he's also got a place here on the same site as the Roastery in Nencourt. And so yeah, we're going to just talk about the business and COVID and what's been happening recently, and of course some coffee talk. So let's go for it then, Jack.
I was thinking about talking when we first met.
Yeah.
Where you randomly turned up at the gym with that big flask of coffee.
Yeah.
And that was our first introduction, wasn't it? I think I was over in the gym and you walked in and said, "Yeah, here's a big bit of coffee, try it." And then I was like, "Yeah," and hooked ever since.
Yeah. I do remember that, and that was obviously in the previous Wellingborough gym.
Yeah, that was our first site. That was. Yeah.
So how long? How young or old is Shy Fit now?
5 years. It was literally 5 years a few weeks ago.
Ah, right, cool. So, so COVID obviously has been a massive. It's been a massive problem for gyms, and it's been a problem for us with the coffee shops, etc., all closing down. So, I noticed on the Instagram and social media that you reacted to this extremely quickly. So what how did you get through it?
Yeah, it's obviously, and I think we're still being affected by it now, and we're going to be affected by it for probably a good 6 months to a year now, I think. But we watched what was happening. We spoke to some gyms in Italy, and obviously Italy were the first ones going to lockdown, so we sort of saw what was happening to them in terms of just being told to close. Then just started building a plan, and I suppose using the military background, we just made a huge list of everything we were going to do, piece by piece. And then the moment they announced the lockdown, I think they announced on the Friday evening, we literally were ready to turn it round, ready for the Monday on everything that happened. So we did a number of steps. We obviously, the first goal is that we wanted to maintain what we do, which obviously trying to help people enjoy training, trying to make it fun. So we were like, well, what can we do? The first thing was like, well, we need to be able to do online training. So we built an online training platform using Zoom, which I wish I'd bought shares off before lockdown. And then,
Don't we all?
Yeah, and then run that as a normal timetable with our coaches. We then gave out about 100 grams worth of kit, I think, over 2 days. Across, obviously rented kit out to all the members. So they came in and collected them. Some were happy. Obviously they got some nice rowers or bikes, and some obviously had to have mats, but we did do a swap over halfway through. And then from them, we just tried to continuously communicate with everybody using our different platforms.
Yeah.
And then we offered them different programs to do whilst they're training at home.
So, and that was all pretty much within days, wasn't it? Of lockdown, you'd got it all instantly. You'd managed to get into people's houses via Zoom, and people were still working out with Shy Fit.
Yeah, we ran like test runs before the lockdown.
Right.
You could just see it happening, couldn't you? It was getting worse and worse. So we were like, right, okay, we'll run test runs. And then the moment it sort of they announced it, we literally, I think we then posted a video that I'd done, just outlining all we were going to do, and we just posted it around 30 minutes later, more so to try and eliminate too much panic, because one thing we are very lucky is, the gym is a huge part of these people's lives. So when that suddenly gets taken away, whether it be for mental health, for their own, physical health, so we wanted to make sure they knew that we were going to still have their back and do whatever we could for them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually a member of your gym too, so I was quite happy to have 4 months break, to be honest. But I've just started now. You've reopened.
Are you happy to start again?
Oh man, mentally, it's the best thing for me. I think my wife was almost got to the point where she was like, "I don't like you at the moment. You need to get back in that gym." So yeah, it's been awesome from that point of view. But it hurts getting back in. So I wish I'd have kept going and done some of your online stuff, but no, I had a good break. So now you obviously said it's going to continue to affect you. So what have you put in place to reopen the doors? How does it work now?
Yeah, so obviously we've got safety's the first thing we've got to think about. So we've obviously, and you've seen already, you've been through the doors. We've built a system in place that we can emulate every single gym, and it keeps everyone safe, helps them socially distance properly. So what we do is a number of things. So the first thing we've got is they don't just come on site anytime. They have to book in with their app, and we've limited the space. When they come in, they queue outside. Obviously, if it's English weather, we've got some covering, or they can stay in their car. The coach will come out and call them in, lead them into the gym. And actually, when they go in, they've obviously got hand sanitizer on entry, and they've got their own boxed areas. So like 3 by 3 meter squares.
Yeah.
It's already got their kit in it. We've built like a traffic light system for them to know what kind of weight they need to grab on entry. And then we've programmed their class as normal, so it just means less numbers. We've done a few other things. For instance, we've brought wristbands out that they can wear when they enter site and when they're around on site.
Yeah.
And each colour obviously means different things. So you've got your orange, which means, I want to stay with 2 metre distancing and stick to, what we've been doing over lockdown. Green means that I'm more comfortable with going down towards more of a 1 metre distance. And then we've got red, which is for people, say, for instance, that I've got health issues, or I've got a family who've got health issues. And we do like a thing where we let them basically make sure they stay quite far away from everybody else, and they're able to enter and exit safely.
Safely, yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So, and have you got, would you say pretty much all of your members have all still members and have all come back and are all enjoying it again?
Yeah, it's obviously we're 3 days in now, so yeah, we've actually regathered quite a lot. We've had a huge interest from other people that weren't members, past members, obviously wanting to get involved.
Yeah.
We're delaying those guys getting involved, so we're starting to formulate a bit of a wait list, just because our first priority is maybe past members that, this whole lockdown's affected everyone, whether it be financially, lifestyle-wise. So we're trying to enable those guys to join first, and then after that, we'll start to piece everyone in. But it's looking busy. The thing we've got is obviously we're limited with how many people we have on site all at one time. And there's only a certain amount of hours in the day and the peak hours that people want to train. So, but as always, our priority is always the people walking through the door, and then we'll shift towards the people that we can get through the door once we know that all the systems work well.
Cool, awesome. So obviously the one that you have, the gym that you've got, ShireFit gym you've got here in Nencourt is just one of how many now?
4 now. Yeah.
4, yeah, cool. And where's the latest one?
So we've obviously just opened one up in Wolverhampton. So that is a franchise. So 2 years ago, we had an employee called Max. We still have him. He works for the team. He's a fantastic member of the team. And he was coaching for us at our Corby gym. Hugely passionate, hungry, like great leadership skills, and just seeing him join the team instantly was like, you get those people that join your team, you're like, they're fantastic. We need more people like that. And he came to me, said he wanted to have his own gym, and so we built a franchise system that allowed him to open, because he was really passionate about what we were doing and how we were working towards the future. So he wanted to be part of that. So he said, look, you go off and open your own ShireFit. Here's a franchise, and we, using the power of Google, we created a franchise agreement, and then obviously planned everything we were going to do with it. And he went off and opened that, and that's where the
so that was franchise number 1, and
that's in Leeds. That's it, West Yorkshire, between Leeds and Bradford, in a place called Carverley. So we opened that site just a year and a half ago now. And then we've just had Mitch, who is an owner of a gym in Wolverhampton, wanting to join the team as well. And obviously during lockdown, he wanted to. So he's just been onboarded, and we've just reopened the site with him. And obviously started this week with many things, obviously introduction, things like the Roastery coffee and things now,
Yeah, wicked. So franchise opportunities, ShireFit, just putting it out there.
Message us,
Yeah, you can pay me later for that.
I will do, yes. I thought, are you not paying me for this?
Oh, yeah, sorry,
Good.
So, yeah, and now, so you're gym number 4, and we've had the pleasure of putting our coffee into every single gym, which is really, really cool. And we get your staff in and we train them. So it's been awesome for us, and we think there's a big potential for this to really keep rolling out more and more around the country. Is that the main goal, the main aim? Is that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. The main goal is always like making sure the product that we deliver is exactly how we want it to be. And then after that, then it's the growth. I think the franchise is great for us because we don't need a huge cash flow to grow quick.
Yeah.
But we can get the like-minded people on board, or we can help fellow gym owners that maybe love coaching but don't enjoy the other side of the business side. So, which we see a lot in the UK industry of gyms. Like I opened the gym because I love coaching or love working out, and then quickly realise, well, I've got to learn about all these things like accountancy and marketing and staff and how we're going to do all those things. So that's the great thing with it. So being able to offer that growth. Obviously, the other part to it is I first initially set up ShireFit just because I wanted to make a difference and look back and say, yes, I'm comfortable and happy that we've made, even if it's one person, we've made their life that little bit better, and know that and see that. And obviously we did that with the first site, and it was like, well, we've now sort of hit a number. We want to do that, so we want to try and expand it. So yeah, the goal now is to obviously continue to expand that and offer that to more people. And I think there's other parts to that as well that people probably don't understand, but it's a part that we've given staff an opportunity to have a full-time job doing something they love doing.
Yeah.
And we see and hear stories of people getting involved, and that sort of is the motivating factor for wanting to grow the business, especially and I think also just seeing the brand and being able to help those fellow gym owners turn their business around, whether they be struggling or they're doing really well but they just want to make it better. That's the goal at the end of the day.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I keep calling it a gym, but really, it's way more than a gym, isn't it? The ShireFit sort of bubble or whatever you want to call it it's about. My experience is it's been about being part of a team, part of a group. I'm usually the last one to finish any WOD, and everyone's there trying to encourage me to finish, and it's just such a nice atmosphere to be in. And it's not a normal gym, so it's something special. It's a special kind of recipe that you've put together, isn't it?
Oh, thank you. I think maybe like taking away some principles of some things that I took in the military. I try and like make it, it's a bit like a rugby club in the sense of everyone sort of starts to know each other. Maybe the gyms do grow to a point where not everyone knows each other, which is a nice point because I like it where you have your own. The people know the people in their class, and I think the coaches then we're built on culture in the sense of our culture is really really important to us. So and that sometimes means we have to make changes and difficult. You've seen we've made loads of changes over the last just a year, let alone 5 years. So if we looked at what we were delivering when we first opened the doors to now, it's completely different. But it's all based on us wanting to deliver best product and match what we want our culture to be. It is all based on that. And I think a lot of it's based about caring. We care for everyone that walks through the door.
Yeah, you want to help.
Yeah.
So let's get onto the coffee side of things. Talking of coffee, I'm just going to have some water. So obviously we met and it was over coffee, and then you sparked an interest in the coffee, and then the relationship's grown. But since you sort of introduced the roastery into the gym, how do you think it's benefited the gym?
A number of different ways. So I suppose the first one was we talked about culture. So it enabled people to stay at the gym that little bit longer. So they were having coffees and chatting to each other, and it added to that. Like I remember, Max once said this: it's like a healthy pub. Yeah. So people wanted to stay behind and drink coffee and spend time together, or even come in early and have a coffee before the session. So that was the first part to it. The second part for us was financially, like genuinely bringing in the coffee enabled us to hire an employee, which meant that took a lot of work off and meant we could share the work and grow the business really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So I think it was part of that. Obviously, it was good for me. My energy levels have been high ever since and not dropped at all. But I think that's exactly what it's been done to us.
So it's safe to say then, or fair to say, that the growth of ShireFit has been fueled by the roastery.
Exactly, mate. Yeah, that's an advert in itself, isn't it?
Cool. So, just back to the coffee a little bit. So the coffee, most people may or may not know that the roastery coffee is fully organic, and this makes a huge difference to, given the product you're giving to your customers is organic. And I don't know if you know or your clients know that organic coffee is so different in terms of it's high in antioxidants and there's no pesticides or anything in there. So it's actually a totally fat-free. That's if you have it without milk. But it's a fat-free, healthy drink. So I think that's something else that's really important to point out. And maybe going forward, with the coffee, we can look at, you know, introducing a Shy Fit brand. That's what we're aiming to do, aren't we? Hopefully
yes, we
soon.
are. Yeah, you said a good
Yeah,
name idea.
yeah. I had come up with a little name. So, you know, you have there's loads of technical terms in Shy Fit, like EMOM. I'm only
Yeah.
just working it out. That's every minute on the
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
And then you've got WOD, obviously, which is work out of the day. Yeah. And then you've got give me some more.
You should know that you've been training for 2 years now, Marcel. So yeah, we've got like.
So
yeah.
anyway, the one that
Anyway.
yeah, the one that I was thinking was there's one called AMRAP.
Yeah.
And then is there AMCAP?
No, but it could be, as you're going to say,
As much
caffeine as possible.
Yeah.
We could
So
definitely
isn't there as many calories as possible?
Yeah, you can. We could abbreviate anything we wanted, but yeah, there is. We do use that one sometimes.
So what do you think?
Yeah, yeah, we could
AMCAP
definitely.
blend.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Yeah.
Okay, we could do that.
I think that would hit a market for that, the functional fitness space as well, because that would grab them straight away if it said something like that. So,
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we've talked about coffee, we've talked about COVID, we've talked about your business, etc. Let's just have a little chat about you, and you know, we'll finish off with just talking about your background. So you mentioned the military a couple of times.
Yeah.
So what's the deal there?
Yeah, well, I must have been 17. I think I first signed up to join the Royal Marines. So I was playing rugby before that. I was at London Wasps.
Cool.
And yeah, my contract came to an end, and I wasn't quite really good enough to continue playing or move into the first team.
What position did you play?
Well, I played 9 back then, obviously. And then I thought, well, to be fair, during my time at Wasps, I started to suddenly just grow. I think over one summer, went from being quite very the shortest player to one of the tallest.
Right.
And then in years to come, then I've moved into the centres and wing as well. Mainly probably because, you know, they say as you get worse, they push you out onto the wings, don't they, rugby? But so I finished that, and I've always been interested in the military. So I ended up pushing in that direction. Wasn't sure what I wanted to join, but then sort of came across the Royal Marines, being that obviously the military training was the longest basic training in the world. So that instantly, for me, was like a grab for me in terms of, naturally, I've always wanted to try and put my hand up for something that I think is going to be either really challenging or push me that I've never been pushed before.
Yeah.
So obviously went through training. I think I started training when I was 17 and passed out. It's 9 months and passed out when I was 18. And then spent 5 years in the Royal Marines, and learned a hell of a lot. I think looking back on it, I think obviously I was pretty young. I was probably quite immature when I first joined, and I think it got better over time. I was in those 5 years, and I was so lucky in the sense of got to play rugby again, playing like the Army Navy matches that you see on Twickenham.
Yeah.
Got to have lots of experiences around the world, and actually a lot of the time was also being around some fantastic leaders, so taking a lot from different leadership styles and seeing the way they work with people, that I think has set me up relatively well into leaving and going into the business world. So
I mean, I've also noticed that you got that military drive, and you still want to challenge yourself way above and beyond opening up your own businesses or your franchises. I mean, recently you just broke a world record, didn't you?
Yes.
So tell us
fueled by coffee as well, most of it as well.
Yeah, all good.
That was the ski erg, 24-hour ski ergs world record. So
24 hours.
Yes, it's something I'd eyed up for a while, and I started training a while back, but obviously, as you know, business comes first, and we were really busy, and there's quite a lot of pressure we were under, so I had to drop a lot, and I'm relatively tunnel vision, so I'm sure, you know, a lot of people tell you that. So I have to have one thing to work towards. So, when lockdown happened, I thought it was a great opportunity for me to go, right, let's have a go at it. So, so did some training for it, obviously put my hand up for it. And then we obviously worked together in terms of working with the Saints Foundation to have it as a charity, because these different challenges I do, you know, the main goal really is that if you do something, you know, what you'd probably say is stupid, it often gains quite a lot of attention. So we can raise really good money for fantastic charities, and that's what I'm really proud the gym has done over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, this was for the foundation. Obviously,
that's the Northampton Saints Foundation, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's I'll just jump in there because that's a charity that the Roastery works closely alongside, and it helps young adults, teenagers into the young adult years that have missed out on education for loads of different things, reasons, and it's trying to get them back into education or even into work, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
and that's who you chose to do this amazing world record for. So it's 24 hours on the ski erg, and how far did you have to go?
Well, the previous world record was, I think it was 277 kilometres, so about 160 something miles. So
Yeah.
yeah, obviously ended up completing 283 kilometres, I think it was. So that's about 170 odd miles, I think, in the 24 hours. So it was quite funny because obviously we agreed it and we were like, right, we're going to go for it this day, we'll set it down. And the record was 240 something. And then literally the day we agreed it, I literally come off the meeting with a foundation, thought I'll check and see about it. And an American, ex-American strongman who competed at the World's Strongest Man competitions had reset the record and added another, I think it was nearly another marathon on top of it.
Jesus.
So I was like, oh wow, okay, I better really get training now. So obviously that's where you drove past a few times, seeing me outside training for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so how, I know obviously you did it, you completed it, you smashed, you didn't just beat it, you smashed the world record, and you also had an injury during it, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, it was just really, really bad cramps. So
Right.
yeah, I think the game plan was 6 hours of I was treating like in every hour I had a goal that I'd hit a distance, and it would give me about 2 minutes rest every hour. I could have some food, quick bit of drink, bit of coffee, and then get straight back on and carry on.
Yeah.
And so the first 6 hours sit at a fast pace, then slow down for the next, then slow down, then slow right down for the last 6. But after the first 6, I felt pretty good, so I was like, I'm just gonna try and hold the same pace. So they did that, got to 12. I was like, if I can fight through to the 18 at this fast pace, it's going to give me a lot of leeway in case I crash, or you're never sure these events how your body's going to react if you haven't quite got your food right and things. So yes, then just carry on that pace. I think I got to 19 hours down, and I started to get cramp in like my lat. I know it sounds silly, but actually it's quite nice when things like happen, because it takes your mind off either the boring nature of it, or the distance plays in your head. Even though it's 24 hours, you get 2 minutes in, you're like, am I on pace? Am I on pace? And that's what you're thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
So it just takes your mind off it. But
I struggle with a 33-minute EMOM, mate. So 24 hours, I can't imagine.
No, you don't. And and then started getting cramp, and it got worse and worse. And then it was funny because my hand was obviously on the ski erg pulling down, and every time it was getting lower and lower, and my shoulder was locking up. Right. And it got to the point where I had to hold it behind my back to stop the shoulder locking up, because when I was locking up, I couldn't use the other hand very well. So the last 4 hours ended up doing it with one hand. So,
amazing.
Yeah, which I think you saw anyway.
Yeah, I was there for the finish. It was incredible. So well done.
Yeah, thanks.
And finally, I think that's not just it. You've got some other crazy ideas. What?
Yeah, we have.
You're going to share those with us?
Yes, yeah. So, the first one that's definitely confirmed is something called the Marathon des Sables, which is it's supposed to be the hardest foot race in the world. It's a race across the Sahara Desert. So and that's for Walking with the Wounded, which is a military charity, obviously supporting people that have been injured in numerous different ways, either on tour or just within the military, and they obviously support them. And it's often something that gets forgotten, because obviously you go on these tours, it goes in the news, and then it sort of just gets forgotten.
Yeah,
so there's a huge population of either ex or serving soldiers that have got some lifelong issues now that they're going to have to live with, and this charity does a great job with them. So it's working with those guys, and the Marathon des Sables is in April, so next year. So we're going to, I haven't even started prepping or training for that one yet. And then we've got some other ideas which are in the pipeline, but I probably won't announce them yet, just in case, because I'm not sure on timeline if we're going to be able to get it done in time. But that's a big one. We're looking at probably 2 or 3 months constant to get the challenge completed. So if it all gets confirmed, maybe we'll jump on again and we'll do another one.
Every time you do these amazing things for charity, we'll get you back on. So that brings me to say cheers, Jack.
Yes,
well done for everything you've done. Cheers. And thanks for your support. And
no, thank you for your support as well. Honestly, like I said before, it's completely changed the game for us and our business, and just seeing how you run yours has helped us as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jack.
Thanks.
Is that enough? How long was that?
How long do you think?
25 minutes.
Yeah, what is that?
I was counting.
Don't start with him